Don't get me wrong, like husband was born this year to helping him in a fight. Oo nga. Medyo was the last episode because it shows exactly how his powers can be useful in a fight. Yes. Maybe when if he uses powers, he can make the people fight for him, like a necromancer. Dead right. Let's see. They say Klaus can do much more in the comics. I don't know what your fate is, but I think spirits are around us all the time, but we don't know it. If someone can see them and communicate with them, I think that's very helpful. It's not just about the dead bodies, but spirits around him. Without Klaus, you wouldn't know what Ben is doing or thinking. Sorry, I meant to put under the main part. What episode are you on? Not to mention knowing dead people related to his opponent gives him valuable information to weaken their psyche. Good point. Well, in the comics, he has also telekinesis and mind control. And he was able to levitate. Oh yeah, sure, I forgot. Right now in the show, basically only conjuring Ben. I'm hoping they'll incorporate some comic stuff in season 2. What is he capable of in the comics? I haven't actually read it yet. He can levitate, he has the telekinetic super strength, and there's the consorting with the death thing. Not every fight is a physical one. His knowledge of their victims sure caused Hazel and Chacha concern, but who knows what other ghosts he can channel. In the comments, he could float. He can do drugs and hide in her chair. Does it really matter if he's used in combat? He can talk to dead people. He can gather lost intelligence from silenced people. It's common to see that information is valuable in the combat. The rest of them can protect Klaus anyway while he's still developing his power. I have for Klaus in the future necromancy if you want to. You can bring your friends to life. But your friends aren't dead, and if they're not dead, they're no friends of mine. No, he's just something. Klaus can bring Ben back, and the odd occasion he actually tunes into his powers. Other than that, he can throw knives. He's not exactly strong. He's not strategical. He doesn't do anything in a fight unless he actually uses his power, which he can barely do. I did think it was weird. He was with the other kids during the bank fight. Like, he can't help. Get him to safety. He's a necromancer, I guess. He just doesn't know how to use powers yet due to his fears as a child, so now he can actually summon and use his dead's powers like what he did with Ben in the last episode. Imagine if they all died and only Klaus was left to fight and he had to connect with all of them and their powers. I think he might have given the series finale right there. Really? That would be amazing. And imagine the feels. At least they could all still be together. I'd probably cry more than I did after Avengers Endgame. Well, Klaus has his amazing power where if he's the only one alive can use the power of his siblings to fight and save the world. They're all trained in hand-to-hand combat. Power-wise, his power is still developing. In season 2, I believe they will give him his comic power telekinesis and be able to possess people. In the comics, Klaus can do more supernatural stuff like levitate and telekinesis, but the showrunners alongside the original writers decided it was too much out of the ordinary for real life for the first season anyway, so they could potentially explore this further next season, because I also know Diego's main power is to breathe underwater and not control knives in the air in the comics, and they're probably gonna explore this too. So you obviously didn't see the season finale of Umbrella Academy. Okay. Right. So was it Dot who was entrusted to ensure the apocalypse happened? Anyway, imagine this. Harold Jenkins was born the same day as the Umbrella Academy kids. If his mother had survived, his father may not have become the abusive alcoholic he did. Harold would not have felt as desperate to escape to the academy or given Reg an opportunity to reject him so completely. He wouldn't have lashed out and killed his father. Getting 12 years coming out of prison with vengeance on the academy on his mind, and driving Vanya to destroying the world. Dot arranged Harold's mother's death and instructed whoever did it to make it look like she died from childbirth, to ensure the apocalypse. And now I feel sorry for Harold, said Help. Apologies has been brought up 1,000 times before, it just popped into my head. I hadn't noticed it mentioned yet, and I wanted to write it down before I forgot about it. Abusive people always find a way to be like that. If she did survive, they might have been happy for a while, but I think we still have treated the both of them badly. Maybe he wasn't gonna be abusive though. Abusive people never intend to be abusive. So what if Dot's job was to facilitate his hatred for his son? Like the orchestration of the mother's death could have only been the first step. Getting the father addicted to alcohol was the next, and blaming Harold slash Leonard was the third slash final step. Those seeds would only take a few weeks to plant, especially if she also planted the notion that he, the father, had no one to help with grief or parenting, leaving him to spiral even worse. The father, and by extension Harold Leonard, could have been just innocent victims, mentally traumatized and manipulated into precise decisions made by the Commission. If Five's body is from an alternate baseline that exists across all quantum realms and universes, as implies when he first arrives summarizes for Diego, then in another universe that Five may or may not have seen Harold Leonard could be a wonderful, gentle, mild-mannered woodworker in another world, with a perfectly happy, healthy parent. And while we don't really know anything for sure about his mother, we can theorize that even his father had gone down the alcoholism abusive route for other reasons. Having a living mother with him may have given him the support and love he too needed to prevent him taking such a dark path himself. Well, don't forget, abusers are often victims of abuse themselves. Exactly, so often unlikely that he would be a completely different person. I've been here a week and absolutely I love this group. It's my theories like this I've ever heard. It wasn't for joining. Brilliant. Yeah, with the macar. Still dance. Diego doing Macarena one. Where is he from? Florida Island. Fine. This one fits better. Gone. Diego, hey Vaughn, do you have a bag and borrow? Fun. The only bags I have are the ones under my eyes. They're specifically designed to carry the burden of my existence. Literally, all you have to do is say no. I am loser. When Diego and Dolores make appearance. No one. Absolutely no one, Luther. Dad sent me to the moon. Sorry if someone posted this already. Reginald, one of these days, Luther. One of these days, bam, swag, straight to the moon. 9,000 times posted, but always welcome. He crazy this as he likes Vanya in a bunker. He makes me mad when he does that. Like, seriously? For real, like, everything Dad did was evil, but I'm gonna keep doing to you what he did. You lock her up because if number 7 is the most powerful, it makes somebody special than thought he was. Oh, yes. I literally can't stop listening to this. Aiden Gallagher. Blue Neon. He's a fucking rock star too. Cool. Loki though, what if the kids travel back to the night 5 leaves, but all of them fall in a huge circle upstairs near their rooms, only Vanya not remembering anything, but then they see Grace there, standing happily, and she says, "You children did it! You found a way! Now let's get your sister in bed, she needs to rest." While all of them are just shocked, knowing what they saw and did just a second ago, and now they're children. I just can't see them emerging from time travel as children, though. First, 5 would have solved that equation just because it bothered him from the first trip, but second, more importantly, would lose all the afters we know love as adults. He can't have solved the equation in a little time if he couldn't have to do it before either. And the time travel at the point was a spontaneous decision. Number 8. There's no number 8. Diego, a summary. I don't care. I say caringly as I care deeply. Anyone get Carrie vibes from the way Vanya kills Leonard? Same. Just to clarify this, why do we hate Luther posts are now getting annoying as fuck? How about why do we love the show so much? Yes, please, you're speaking my language. In my opinion, I think Tom looks weird with the top half of an ape. Still good looking though. What the fuck? Same with Vanya hate posts. The editing. I love how they splice the scenes together, like when Reginald first gets children and all the nannies, or the I think we're alone now scene. I love how they seg, and sometimes a complete lack of seg. It's all very well timed. The editing was the very first thing I noticed about the show, and I immediately loved it, and I knew I would watch everything I could get my hands on. It is also different from every other superhero movie out there, superbly done. I was convinced even before release. Just love something I found. Luther in the Umbrella Academy. Number 5 has only 3 moods. Oh yes. The Umbrella Academy soundtrack is, I don't care y'all say. I was dancing too, trying to be more like seizing. Yeah, they're really getting repetitive and boring. My top 5 reasons. Ben. I love all others was meant to prove I can. The soundtrack, the vibe. The shows are hilarious at the same time. He's more Ben. I don't hate any one of them because without them doing what they are doing, there is no story. They are only actors. If you hate them, how can you? Okay. Spoilers. I haven't listened to Blue Neon yet. Just honestly, I'm not intrigued because I'm not fond of Aiden. However, I can appreciate good music regardless of the creator. So, is it worth a listen? And I'd rather not hear typical "yes, it's so good" and I love Aiden that I've heard constantly. I mean, is it actually a good song? Following because same. Good to know metal at least. Actually, I think Blue Neon isn't that great personally, but his new song "Miss You" is with Trinity Rose really good. I love it. Honestly, not my cup of tea, but I love similar music to it. Just falls flat for me. I do love Aiden and the character of number 5, but that's not the only reason I like this song. It's actually a good song, but it wasn't by Aiden. I'm not that into it, like what someone said above it falls flat for me too. I didn't think so. It sounds like it's straining. Not a fan of his music. Blue Neon, I'm not a fan. However, like Kalea Grin said, Miss You is actually a decent song, worth listening to. But Blue Neon didn't wow me for a 15-year-old. It's average, but it's nothing too special. I personally do not like the song that much. Not that it's a bad song. I feel like it could have just had some more work done with it before it was released. I'm just picky about music since I've done some type of music with my whole life and I'm also a singer. Only way I knew who Aiden was his role as a little boy, Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Don. I really don't like it. It's just not my kind of song. Oh yeah. I love Luther, but this is great. Allison doing God's work. I love Luther too, but a few horse tranquilizers probably would have put him down long enough for him to resolve things without such major consequences. There are so many of these Umbrella Academy memes where I'm like, I'm going to tag Heather and then I see that you already commented on it. Oh, friends. I have any friends who like Umbrella Academy too. Good to know. So if Ben died horribly violently, then why does his ghost look fine? Good question. Maybe something happened to the back of him. We've never seen him turn around. Maybe he died so violently that he basically exploded and his clothes can't really represent that. I saw a theory that Ben accepted his death, and that's why he looks fine. The ghosts who were killed by Hazel and Cha-Cha were also angry about their deaths. Ooh, I like that idea. So he's mentally stable. If I remember correctly, all we know is that Vanya said it was bad and is loosely contributed to Luther and Reginald. Maybe he killed himself, slit wrist, maybe he was shot in the chest, bullet hole under the coat, or maybe even drowning. I think it's episode 7, but I'm not sure. Klaus is talking to Ben and says, "Sorry man, I know you didn't want to die so young and violently." That rules out suicide then. Well, he might have been driven into it, because they all made him use his powers. I'm sure if it was suicide, he didn't want to do it, but he saw no other choice. It still might have been suicide. He could have forced a squid thing to eat him up, and it was pretty violent. Maybe even drowning. My brain, heh, Ben drowned. Ben drowning. I see what you did there. Mental stability. Ben is likely the most mentally stable of the group. I hope we find out in season 2. It's like Star Wars. One season was they loved them. That was a glow up to die for. My theory is that the monsters he had in him killed him from the inside. I thought the same. Maybe his Kraken killed him from the inside. In the last episode, you see that Klaus conjures Ben and he struggles to control his Kraken. Maybe he used his powers one day and he couldn't control and it killed him. Hope you will know in season 2 or it will still mystery so people will always guess. I mean, we've only seen him in a sweatshirt and long pants. Under that, it could look like he's gone through a meat grinder and we wouldn't know. Go to present themselves as they wish to be seen. Not true, because when Tasha and Hazel kidnapped Klaus and we were talking to the people they've killed, you could see how they've died. But you have to accept your death to do so. Those who are traumatic and not ready to accept your death cannot. They appear as they've died, aka death state has been moved on. My theory is, don't drag me, maybe Luther and Reginald killed him on purpose, because Reginald knew Klaus could resurrect. I think this is correct because he knew the end of the world was coming, so he knew the future. So why couldn't have stopped Ben's death because he wanted Klaus to see what his true powers was? That's cruel! Some more papers. Alguns papéis de parede. Es perfecto. Yup. Perfect. So perfect. Why is he so handsome? Can you guys tell me? Was Ben Rufio from Peter Pan? He was. He's been 15 for like 20 years. No, Justin Lee was only a year old when Who came out. Dante Bosco played Rufio. Maybe this would be hanging in the academy somewhere. Literally everybody. Grow up already, man, and be a better person. Klaus, also me. I'm a nice person, but I'm about to start throwing our people. What if the Umbrella Academy had been put together and raised with Vanya so that they could fight her better? That thought it actually crossed my mind on stage. How do you fight with one whose intent and reason for being is to end the world? The first version they learned through 5 was all were rendered dead, but they did not know it was because of Vanya. 5 is trying to beat and change the timeline. She is the conflict. They know now she is the bad guy, but she is the one of them, aka family. Since they stopped the end of the world, then there are other ways they misuse their powers to keep combating what is thrown at. The Earth and or the human race, the exact reason for the show. They chose her. The meteor will destroy the Earth. They will be in the safe space until a timeline is changed. Will Vanya get the message? She is the Grim Reaper of the world and learn to control herself and her powers. If so, then it is time they have to deal with it and turn it back another enemy. 5 assumed it was the group that controlled events that ended at the Earth, but it was his sister. And if they keep changing timeline and what other forces destroys the Earth, you have a story mainline to bounce. The interpersonal relationships, developments and realizations of the siblings' characters off. At this point, you do not need Vanya anymore. Anyway, this timeline they will keep trying to end civilization into dysfunctional power filled. Good guys will have to combat it, get their familial feelings as the siblings, as her own self-pity and not her fault belief has endeared her to them through actual love or obligation. She is thought of now as one of them, so they feel she should be saved. She might come back to bite them in the end, but they feel she's not their true enemy for now. Klaus threw a whole ass bowling ball at Ben, and he actually tried to catch it because he shares Klaus' single brain cell. Ah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just sharing, I'm just sharing, I'm just sharing it to my friends. Oh, please, I'm a great pretender. Ooh, pretending that I'm doing well. Ooh, my knee such. There are also books of Grimm. Well, I didn't know. What is Diego's true power? Oh, I already read that. It's the White Witch. Go. Show me your A-bombs then. Holy shit. You ever hear a rumor about yourself and actually want to hear more? Like, damn, what I did after that? Sam the player who stole the drugs. Was it me? Was it me? It was him. Fucking pink fairies everywhere. Yep, now floor it. Did the looter lost his super strength? He seems to struggle handling Hazel. They're both super strong. The Commission aren't just normal humans, they're stronger than normal human. All of them? I don't know, but Hazel and Cha-Cha are known as one of the best time-traveling assassin. And in the comics, the Commission have incredibly advanced technology, so they could have enhanced them. Hazel, his siblings, decision and actions, life. Wait, what was the question? The ape DNA weakened his body, and Hazel and Cha-Cha aren't normal humans. They were enhanced by science in cybernetics, so basically they're cyborgs. Yeah, I mean, he threw the rubber out of the window when he was a child. Nope, Hazel is stupid strong enough from this timeline. I also wondered about readjustment to Earth's gravity, etc. After being on the moon for not so long, I know this affects astronauts, so I wonder if it somehow affected Luther as well. Why are you talking about the Vietnam War? Class status after traveling the Vietnam War. I wasn't able to take a proper photo of the post as I forgot to visit one of the account posted this on Instagram. Hello, goodbye. Oh, okay. Is it just me, or does anyone else think Luther's relationship with Allison is weird? I know they're not blood, but they've grown up as siblings, so I don't know, it's weird. Yep. They both call him Dad. It's gross. Yeah, I get the whole not blood related this argument, but it crossed the line when she told her kid that that's Claire's uncle. And they were raised as siblings. What the fuck is she gonna tell Claire if they get together? Hey, honey, it's his uncle Dad. Ew, super gross. If they hadn't told everyone they were siblings in such a manner, it wouldn't be such weird. They were raised together versus we're siblings. It's a totally different approach and mentality. One is the healthy basis of relationship, and the other is incest. But the whole they're already just kids because they came from the balls of light thing makes him even more related, so even more ill. Different moms, different dads, probably born miles and miles apart. They're not blood related at all. They're siblings by circumstance through adoption, not hereditary siblings. The whole idea behind it being against the law was to prevent interbreeding of bloodlines because it caused all kinds of problems related to heritage. If they were adopted. You must not watch Game of Thrones. Ew. Please, I'm a great pretender. Oh, pretend time to win. Oh, my knees such and too much. I'm lonely. Ayun. Ay, na-post ko na yun eh. Diego giving a ride to class. We stand a power couple. Woke language is pure cringe. Number 5 in a nutshell. Send help. Up, down, funk you up. 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 Up, down, funk you up.